Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm joined here today by Alexis Sams, CEO, owner, PT, physical therapist extraordinaire at AZ Dance Med. And I am excited to introduce you all to her work. And she and I actually have been working together formally for exactly 1 month as of today. And she was like, we need to get on and talk to each other about the work that we've been doing together and the results that I've gotten. So I decided to bring her on here today and just share some things with you. So welcome, Alexis. I gave a bit of an introduction, but I would love for you to tell people from your perspective who you are and what you're up to.
Number one, and thanks for the opportunity for me to be able to just kind of tell my story about my journey over the last year and a half, a very short amount of time, and to talk about like how pivotal our work together has been. So, yeah, like you said, I'm the owner of AZ Dance Medicine Specialists. I technically started it back in 2014, combining my experience as a dancer, dance instructor, and a physical therapist to help dancers rehab from their specific injuries. Trying to just bridge that gap between a general medical community and what dancers need to be able to rehab themselves. In 2014, I literally just filled out paperwork so I could legally take money from dance moms who would call me and say like, Caitlin hurt her back, fix her, we rented out studio space so that you can work with her. So that's kind of how it started. And then it grew into home visits to people in their home studios or at other studios around the city, Phoenix, where I'm based. And then that continued to grow into my first kind of, I guess, clinic. I didn't even think about it as a clinic back then, but it was 250 square feet, just enough space for like my table and my desk and a poster. That grew to 550 square feet about 6 months later. And then maybe about 6 to 7 months after that, we moved into a 3-room space. I now have a practice studio space, the treatment space, and then my office. The most significant growth has been in the last year and a half. Backtracking to your 20 lessons that I listened to. If you guys haven't listened to those 20 lessons, you got to listen to the 20 lessons. But somewhere in the top 3, the last year and a half has happened for me in terms of success because 1, I made those decisions. And 2, I got business coaches. So the success that I've had has been beyond my wildest imagination in such a short amount of time.
So I know you were saying that last year and a half you got some business coaches, and you and I have worked together pretty intensely in the last 30 days.
30
So
days.
yeah, so tell me what was the problem you were facing when you and I started working together?
Yes. I was in a and I still am. I'm in a mastermind group right now, and that was going great, and it still is. What was missing was mindset work. I had gotten my business to a good point. I was getting visible, and people were starting to, inquire about services. I was starting to do all these things and talk to all these people, and I started noticing my spirit, like just literally my self-esteem, my confidence was holding me back from making decisions, holding me back from talking to more people, from letting people know what I can do and how I can help people. Like I tangibly noticed that my attitude and how I felt about myself was affecting my almost like daily decisions and how I was moving the business forward. So I was just like, I got to do something about that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But once I really tapped into like, I'm holding me back, I just immediately started trying to figure out ways to kind of, the saying goes, get yourself unstuck. Like I knew I was stuck because of me. So what can I do? And just literally by the grace of God was when you came and did the talk at my mastermind meetup. And we could easily say the rest is history. Because for anybody watching this, I'm kind of one of those people that is now I'm kind of like, you don't have because you don't ask. The least you can say is no. So after Tavana spoke at the event that we had, I think I emailed you, or I Facebook messaged her. I Facebook messaged her when I realized that she was in Atlanta and based in Atlanta. I was like, oh, she's going to be here for a couple days because she lives here. I just asked to meet her. I was like, can we meet up? Can we chat? Like, do you do sessions? All she was going to say was no, but she did it. And so we met that Saturday and just talked, and I told her everything that I was thinking, and she very nicely and eloquently called me out on all of my bull. And and just got me, she gave me the push that I needed. That was she was the resource, or you are the resource that I was looking for. I was like, this is somebody who's been through what I'm going through. They know where I'm coming from. They know my struggles, and they're going to help me fix me and take me to the next level.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's so fantastic that you were like, I'm gonna be in town for one more day. Will you do a session with me? And I was like, I don't normally do one-off sessions, but because you had already done workshop with me and knew the basis of my coaching and teachings, I was like, sure, why not? And
thanks.
Right, you're welcome. Yeah, and so then there was an opportunity to come back and do a VIP experience and talk about the Vision Accelerator. And so what made you sign up for that? Like, what did you think the impact would be for you, your business, and then also personally?
It's the reason that I'm hesitating is because for me, it was just an energy. I can't really describe it. It was just you got to do this, just go with it. Like, I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. I didn't spend a whole lot of time worrying about how I was going to pay for it. I just knew that the opportunity was presented to me. Our first couple of encounters were already pivotal. They were already reshaping my mind. And I just felt like God, the universe, whatever you choose to call it, just kind of presented this opportunity and was like, this is it. This is your moment. Take it, go. And so you sent me the email about the Vision Accelerator. I said, okay, sign me up. I mean, the same thing always goes like, what's the worst that can happen? There really isn't a worst that can happen. Just get yourself there. Everything happens for a reason. I said, I wasn't really concerned with how much it cost or anything. So I went ahead and registered, and I was like, okay, I got the registration covered. Then I was like, wait, I have to get myself there. Like, I was so excited. I was, you sent the outline. I'm like, this is great. This is what I need. I gotta find some place to stay. So I was so excited. I kind of forgot about that. And then this is how, when you're in the right direction, I checked my points balance on my credit card, and I had enough points to cover the flight and the hotel. I think I ended up having to pay like $25 at the end. And I was like, there you go. So
Okay.
yeah. And my expectation was just that I knew I was going to be better. I knew my mindset. I knew I was going to be better on all levels, business, personal. When I left, you had put in the outline that it was going to be challenging. I was going to, be challenged to face some old thoughts and create new thoughts and look deep or dive deep into why I think and act in certain ways. And I was all for it. Like, I'm still at the point in my life, personally and professionally, where I'm like, call me out, because sometimes I'm so deep in whatever I'm doing, I don't see specifically what's holding me back. Help me figure out what's holding me back so I can move forward. I don't care if I cry. I don't care if we don't like each other for a couple days. I don't care. Like, if it's going to help me, I need to do it. I need to get through the discomfort and pull off the Band-Aids and do whatever I need to do to move forward.
Well, you pulled
So
off some other things too while we
I
were there, and you made a very big personal change. So please tell them a little bit about that. Like,
so
I'm looking at this beautiful hairstyle that you're
yeah.
rocking right now.
So and it's funny because like, yes, you definitely influenced it, but I've always like struggled with how I felt about my personal hair. It's been natural for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, but I did a lot of protective styles. So I did like a lot of wigs and I did a lot of extensions, literally just because I wasn't happy with myself, even to what we were talking about the other day, when I messaged you about how I specifically felt about not feeling like my personality and who I was blended enough with natural hair. And so I've always wanted to have like this cute, like sassy, like killer haircut. And I could never get somebody to do it right for me. I always tell people, I would ask people to cut my hair and I end up looking like T-Boz from the 90s, you know, from TLC. Nothing against T-Boz. I love her, especially in the 90s, but I didn't want her haircut. And that's kind of what I kept getting. So, yeah, when I saw your hair, another one of those things, all you can say is no. There's no, no risk. So I messaged Tavana and I said, girl, who does your hair?
Since you'll be in town
And
anyway,
I was
right?
like, since I'll be in town, she's probably local. So she gave me the name of her stylist, and I didn't know this lady. I just called her up and I said, I know this sounds weird. I'm a client of one of your clients and I'm coming into town to work with her and I want you to chop my hair. And she said, are you sure? And I said, yeah. And I had already thought myself through it. If I don't like it, I'll just slap another extensions on, or I'll slap another wig on it and start again. Nothing more than what I got right now. So yeah, even physically in the last month, I jumped on the plane with my points, flew to Atlanta. The first thing I did when I got off the plane was I went to the salon and I got this, which I love, by the way. And all my friends and family have loved it. But that was the kickoff in the last 30 days.
Yeah,
To
because part of what we do together is building confidence and courage to do the things that you want to create your life. And I thought it was so interesting. So, of course, that first day, I throw you into the gauntlet and was like, hey, we need to
girl,
do a Facebook Live.
she threw me into the gauntlet. And I was like, this is what I came for. Okay, deep breath. Just do
Yeah.
it.
And
And
it
yep.
was so, how was that first Facebook Live that I called Coming Out a Hair Story? How was it
Um,
received?
everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. I probably had the hardest time, receiving it and accepting the newness and the differentness. Differentness is not a word. Difference.
It is now.
It is now. But no, I've got nothing but like just encouragement and compliments on how it looks. And the cool thing about it is even though those are all compliments, I'm still not letting it affect how I think about it and how I think about my process. I'm actually still I like it. I love it actually. I'm still working through it. I'm still figuring out how to like wash it and style it and what products to use and everything. So I'm at a different point than what the external world is, or where the external world is and how they view me. And that's okay. Even when it's positive. And it's funny because I've heard this from other speakers in other ways. Don't listen to people to a certain extent when they're talking negatively about you, because your opinion about yourself matters, but also think about not listening so harshly to when people say positive things about you, because what you think about yourself still matters more.
Mm-hmm. For
So
sure.
yeah, I've been taking all those compliments and that's great, but I'm very much present in how I feel about that process and in myself. And so
Yeah.
that's just it. That's what it is.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about like what of the coaching specifically has made the biggest impact for you, your life, your business?
Systems. I'm very systematic and organized in my life. That's a very strong part of my personality. So identifying and organizing my thoughts in this perspective has been the most helpful. So the thought models, like the system of the thought model, really helps when I'm feeling a little frazzled or when something's happening and I'm not exactly sure how to feel about it or the direction to take. The thought model is a system that has helped me. It's right here, my book right here. It even says my thoughts. I take this with me everywhere. So when something pops up, I write it down and work myself through a model.
So,
And that,
let me just explain to the people that are listening the thought
okay.
model. So the thought model says that there are circumstances and situations in our lives we don't have control over those, but we think we have certain thoughts about these circumstances and situations, and those are the things that we have control over, because the thoughts generate feelings. So if we're feeling frustrated or we're feeling overwhelmed, it's usually because of how we're thinking about the circumstance that's occurring. And over time, with those feelings, they generate actions or inaction. And over time, those actions or inactions create certain results. So oftentimes when people are stuck in their business, in their lives, we're seeing a lot of inaction, right? And it's generated by how they're feeling. And so we did a lot of work on that. So what would you say to people who are like, mindset work, I don't need it, thoughts, that's kind of the soft stuff. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do.
You're only going to do what your mind is ready for.
Mm.
It's kind of how I see it now.
Yeah.
Like somebody can tell you and tell you and tell you and tell you. So if you're one of those people that's like, tell me what to do. And it's funny, even like within our mastermind program and within my physical therapy, like local community, there's a lot of people who are like that tell me what to do. And then they get told what to do and they don't do it. And it's because their mind isn't made up to do it for whatever reason, something's holding them back. So if you're one of those people that feels like that tell me what to do, that's all well and good, but you're not going to do it unless your mind's made up. So for me, that's the essence of mind work, why mindset is so important. Take it from a physiological perspective. I'm of the thought that every bodily function, everything that is in all of our existence, everything that we do say, it does start with the mind, either from a physical perspective, our mind, our physical brain has enough like nutrients, fluid, oxygen, like your mind has to have enough to function, to produce said activities, said actions. And emotionally, you have to be in the right frame of mind from the brain again to produce said actions, activities. So, I mean, you can't live without a mind. So literally you can't live without a mind. So it's not necessary. It just doesn't, it doesn't, it's oil and water. It doesn't mix.
Right. So if we talk about, like, you and I worked very intensely on the thoughts and the mind and what was coming up and the things that were keeping you stuck and keeping you from taking action on the strategies that you already had from this mastermind, right? So what actual results, like if you could give some specifics that you've created over the last 30 days by unlocking and getting unstuck?
And there's tons. And now that you put me on the spot to like actually make some examples, now I've gone blank. Well, it's just, in a general sense, it's just open the door to more business. Like, I'll put it this way. You specifically gave me a task to listen to some podcasts within the last week, and I listened to them, and they presented ideas to list the things that need to be done, to prioritize things that need to be done. A lot of times I was just fearful, a feeling. I was fearful of just listing the things that I needed to do because I didn't want to physically look at that overwhelm and not know what to do about it. So using what we've kind of worked on already in terms of the thought model and the confidence loop. Guys, if you have not heard, are you gonna do that webinar again
I
about the
am.
confidence loop? Life changing. It's such a simple concept, but it's so powerful and so helpful. And what did I say the other day? It works forwards and backwards. So when
Yeah.
I get myself unstuck by thinking through that loop backwards. So getting myself unstuck, identifying when I'm not clear about something, identifying I'm not clear about something because I haven't been consistent in terms of giving it a go, trying it, working through that situation. When that consistency meets its threshold or when it meets that critical mass point, then you know what to do. Then you get that clarity. That clarity like continues to help you propel forward. So just staying with that and keeping those things in mind, which are the things that she and I talked about during our VIP day. In the last, just yesterday, it got me organized in order to make a weekly schedule for tasks that I needed to do. And then those tasks got interrupted because I got, what did I tell you, 4 new clients? I had to stop a
4 new
task.
clients and 16 inquiries to come out to people's studios and do work.
So for all the work that I had done to get myself organized, feel good about the tasks that I'd identified, organize those tasks, I set aside the time to do a project that was gonna help make me more money in the next 60 days. I sat down to do the project and then the phone started ringing. And it cut 30 minutes into my project because I got 4 new clients and had to book them. And then
so we talked about visibility a lot, and we talked about during that VIP day, visibility. We talked about sales and your thoughts around that.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we did.
So you want to say something
you want
about
me to talk
that?
about that?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. I was so blocked mentally by the fear of sales. I've always had an apprehension towards sales in the selling position and as a consumer. I'm the person that walks into the store and does not want the person to come up and talk to me and ask me how I'm doing and if they can help me, because I already feel like I already had a sense that they're not genuine. They're asking me if they can help me because they want to try to sell me something. I don't need that. So that was already kind of like it sounds horrible saying it, but that was already kind of like my perspective as a consumer. So when it flips around and I'm in the other seat, the number one thing I didn't want to be was that person. I did not want to give that energy to somebody coming into my clinic. But to a large extent, all we hear sometimes is, selling physical therapy or getting somebody to convert to working with you and things like that. And those actually, you helped me figure out that those terms and that mentality was trumping me up like crazy. It was keeping me from being able to do what I wanted to do, which was help the people. So we transitioned that thought process to very just simply letting people know that I can help them. And I very purposefully now, when I talk to people, when I talk to new clients, even on the inquiries, when people ask me, they want to make an appointment, is their condition something that I work with? The first thing that comes out of my mouth is, yes, I can help you. Yeah. Definitely. I put definitely the other day, I typed it in Facebook Messenger. I can definitely help with that. And that just little shift in thought has skyrocketed my conversions, which I don't even talk about in terms of conversions anymore. It's just people feeling confident that I can help them and choosing to move forward with me and allowing me to help them. So people knowing and feeling confident that I can help them allows them to let me help them. And that whole mentality of offering help and guiding people and helping people has ultimately helped me literally in the last 30 days. I made my January goal in the last, I like we were just talking about, January 11th, which is the middle of January, was when I had the VIP experience, went home. The last 2.5, 3 weeks, I powerhouse, got more clients, got people to move forward with me in terms of working, and made my January goal on my own, just off my clinic work, which was crazy. Tavana said, she knew with 100% confidence that I was going to meet it anyway. I was, I was maybe like 87% confident, but yeah, the concept, one of the things that we switched was my whole perspective and my whole mindset and thought about how I perceived like the sales mentality. And just that small tweak has made me feel so much better, so much less anxiety, so much less nervousness talking to new clients when they come through the door. I'm so much more comfortable now. I'm still working on it. I'm happy to be working on it. It doesn't feel like getting your teeth pulled working on it anymore.
Yeah. Well, how is it affected? Because that's on one side, but you have to be visible to get people to know about you and that you can help them. So how has that affected your visibility strategies and what you've been doing? Because I know being on camera was a thing before we
To
started
me, it
working
goes
together.
back. The first thing that you asked me the question, the first thing that popped in my mind is just like, it's the confidence loop. Like, that's the answer, after the VIP day and getting those different perspectives and mindset changes, I had just enough courage, which is in that bottom half of the loop. I had just enough courage to build some consistency. One of my challenges early on was to just get in front of the camera and do a video again with a new haircut, So I mustered up enough courage to be a little bit more consistent. And the more consistency, it did, like, girl, I don't know how you came up with that. It's just amazing though. But yes, the consistency brought more clarity. So it's a lot easier for me now to come up with topics to talk about. I hit a slump when I was doing really good coming up with all these nice concepts and ways to talk to people. And then I like lost it. I just hit a big slump. Tavana will tell you, I went through this phase where I would say like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And I'm so much better. Like, I know what to say and I know what to do. And even when I have a little sense of not feeling that, I now stop myself and I'm like, yes, you do. What are you afraid of? Like when I quickly identify when I want to say, I don't know something, I'm afraid of something. So I take that step back and I figure out what I'm afraid of and then get that little bit of courage. Okay, well, what do I need to be consistent at? And just literally talking myself through that loop has been a game changer. And I'm really sorry. I'm not even sure if I completely answered the question that you just asked me, but
Well, take it. So now you use the confidence loop to keep moving forward. Like you
yes,
don't get yourself stuck and you're now more visible, even with the changes in haircut and all of this things.
yes, it helps. Yes, it helps my visibility because it helps with my clarity. I am more visible when I'm clear on what I'm doing and when I'm clear on what my message is. So that's what the connection was. The
Right.
work that we've done, the thought models and the confidence loop specifically, keep my clarity and it grows my clarity. It keeps my eyes open and receptive to new client needs, things that I'm seeing, whether in social media or messages. And it gives me clarity to be able to identify what people need to hear from me, identify the information that they need to keep themselves moving forward. And I'm able to more quickly put those things out, give more help, show that I can help. So yes, that's why it's helped my visibility. I have a clearer voice and I more frequently know what to say.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so some people out here might be watching this and they're like, okay, that's well and good. Maybe you're a special snowflake or unicorn, which I do believe you are. But you're very much like a lot of us. Like I had a lot of fear that I had to work through, and I still have fear and doubt and frustration and overwhelm and what have you. So when it comes to like after the VIP experience and I offered that this work could be taken further and you could have some support more than just that weekend. Like, were there any hesitations to moving forward to the next step?
Yes, and they were all financial, to which I said to myself, you always get it covered. It always gets taken care of. You've made it this far. That was the only reservation that I had. And I very quickly was like, no, like that's my fear talking. It's really probably not financial. I've never I've always had everything that I needed. Do I drive the best car and have the biggest house? No, but I have a house. I have my roof over my head. My car works. I have food. I've always had my needs supplied. Thank you, Jesus. So really, I'm actually starting to learn that when I think it's a financial issue, it's really fear of something else. And I'm
So how do you work yourself through that?
The confidence loop.
I should have known. I'm definitely going to have to put that somewhere below this, because people are going to be like, what is she talking about?
So how do I work through that fear? It's like, guys, it's in the loop, because the step before having courage is making a commitment based on discomfort. And another word for discomfort can be fear. So if I'm afraid of something, I make a commitment that I'm going to change it. And then I get that one little ounce of courage to propel me forward. And in the next step is being consistent. So having that courage in what you were saying, making that decision, the consistency was that, I'm going to say this real quick. The consistency was really funny. Before we met, or before Tavana gave her presentation at the mastermind program with my group, my mother had given me her book, Unstoppable Success, years ago. I still had it. Apparently, Tavana went to my mama's church and my mom got the book. Tavana had already she had already signed it and said something like, wishing you the best, Alexis. We had never met. So my mom was just like, write something to my daughter. So I already had her book back then. So when you talk about consistency, it kind of has to start all the way back with her book before I even met her. And then she came to Mastermind. We met there. I bought her book again and then got the cover and realized I already had it at home. So now I got 2 copies of your book with 2 signatures, but one of them is when you knew me and one of them is when you didn't.
Oh, help.
Consistency number 3 is we met one-on-one. Consistency number 4 is we had our VIP day. So then when the decision was brought to me, am I going to take it to the next level or take the next step in terms of more specific coaching and more specific guidance? It was consistency number 5. So did I have the courage to remain consistent with that consistency? It's helping me to become more clear. So there it is. That was ultimately what made me decide to move forward. It was another opportunity to have courage and be consistent.
Yeah. So as we start to wrap up here, like, who would you recommend working with me in any capacity to, and why?
Yes.
Since you've worked with me on the spectrum of things here.
Like literally the answer is yes. I mean, it really can be anybody. You asked me the question and immediately the answer that I wanted to give, so I'll give it, is anybody who's ready. Like, I understand that I easily identified with you because we have a similar background. We even both have family in Virginia. So we have a very similar background. We're both in the same profession. We're both women. We're both entrepreneurs. So having that, likeness definitely, obviously, would be something that I would, suggest those type of people would find some success, I believe, working with you. But ultimately, it's whoever's ready to make a commitment and not be afraid and put in some consistency and do some work and allow you to help us through that, help them through that process, to get themselves unstuck when they get stuck. I feel like, honestly, like, I can't think of anybody who would go wrong or not come out with positive results if they were ready. You just have to be ready to go. You have to be ready to you have to be ready to take action. You got to be ready to, and action doesn't always have to be a lot, but you have to be ready to take action. That's what's on my heart to say right now.
Yeah, because it's one thing for people to say they want something, and it's another thing for people to do something to actually get that thing. And in our case, a lot of times the work is figuring out why you're not doing something and working through that, which can be very uncomfortable and challenging for people. So thank you so much, Alexis, for sharing your journey and your story and the ups and downs and all of that. It's always fun to hear like what's going on. I know we celebrate wins from week to week to week, but to see the global, like, oh my gosh, in 1 month, all of this has happened simply because you were willing to commit and have the courage and consistently do something,
Hmm.
keep moving yourself forward. So
I
if
still can't believe it's only been a month. That's
I
crazy.
know when I looked at the calendar, I was like, whoa, it's only been a month.
Like literally to the date. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, you've been rocking it out. You've been
Oh,
rocking it
thank
out. What they say, time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when
Yeah.
you're having fun.
So if any of you all are watching this and you are curious as to if the type of coaching that I provide can help you get unstuck, to help you get started, to help you have clarity, consistency, courage, all of these things that I do teach in the Confidence Loop, please go to tavanadenise.com/discover. And I actually am going to put a link or something so that you can see what this confidence loop is that Alexis has been talking so much about. Just briefly, what I say in the confidence loop, and it's hard to describe without you being able to see it, but basically there's something that is uncomfortable. We have some sort of discomfort in our lives that we want to change, right? So we're tired of being where we are. There's a discomfort, and we decide, we make a commitment to actually do something about it, make the change. And when we make that commitment, we say, okay, enough is enough, I'm actually going to do something about it, all of our crap comes up. Like we freak out, the freak out occurs. I don't know, enough is too much. I need to go get more certifications. I don't have the money, what have you. And if we can just, as Alexis pointed out, just get one little ounce of courage to move forward anyway, then move forward every day or consistently, then we will get to that place of clarity and competence where we know what to do and we know how to do it. And she talked about, now that she's been testing things out and she's not afraid to keep trying things, she knows what to say, right? And she knows where to go find these people that are looking for her help. And when you know what to do and how to do it, that's where you hit that level of confidence, and then you can find that comfort zone. So that in a verbal explanation is what the confidence loop is. And we'll try to post somewhere so that you can visually see the confidence loop as well. So thank you so much, Alexis, for your time. You all, tavanadenise.com/discover if you are interested in having a momentum consultation and figuring out how to get started, how to get unstuck. Have a great rest of the day.